And we are live. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hi, just a
Today,
second. We're not live. It's not working. I'm on the YouTube site, so you're not speaking to anyone. Oh, now we're live. Okay, we're
Hi,
live now.
today
Second, we're not live. It's not
we
working.
are,
I'm on
we
the
are.
YouTube.
Everything works.
You're
Everything
not
works
speaking.
fine.
Oh, now we're live.
So,
We're live now.
today,
Second, we're not live.
so, anyways, we are really happy to be meeting you here at the sidelines of the fifth session of United Nations Environmental Assembly. And today we are hosting the event to the short presentation on the road to COP27 using blockchain technology to empower young people and finance for climate change action. And we're really happy to be here. My name is Olga, and I'm program officer from UN Habitat.
Hello everyone, I'm Simon, a program officer, gender in terms of human rights and social inclusion, gender issues.
And today we are happy to be joined by a specialist children and youth program management officer by UN Habitat, Douglas Reagan, and the coordinator of Digital Art for Climate Initiative, Miroslav Pulzer, and Emmy Award winning filmmaker and founder of Rate 2030, Lisa Russell. So, really happy to be meeting you here and discussing the topic. And I'm just passing the word off to Doug Reagan to introduce the initiative. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Olga. Let me just thank everyone here from Nairobi, Kenya, at UNEP and UNEA, the UN Environment Organization's biannual conference. We're really excited for many reasons. One being that we're all coming out of the pandemic now, so that we can actually have these lovely, wonderful hybrid events where we're bringing people from all over the world, and also celebrating something really unique. The Digital Art for Climate program initiative started by IAI and Miroslav and many of the other partners who are around the table here. What's exciting about that is engaging artists to affect change. And these artists, oftentimes being young or from all over and from all different walks of life. One of the artists that we're very proud of is here in Nairobi, the Graffiti Girls. We'll hear more about them later on and see a video. But what we're seeing is this upswell of young people, upswell of people globally who want to affect change and stop the horrible devastation that's happening with climate change. So this is what this is about. We're also going to do a bit of a deep dive. I see that Romy is here on technology, blockchain, how that kind of links to this, NFTs, all these wonderful new terms that we're all learning. And so we're going to do a bit of a deep dive on that too. So anyways, just big welcome from UN Habitat, from UNEP, also mentioned by Olga. This is part of the World Environmental Situation Room, a really unique program out of UNEP that we're partnering with the UN Habitat, and we're really excited to be involved in the Situation Room, which is basically live understanding of what's happening globally with the environment, so you can log in anywhere and anytime. So this is for our first kind of big, at least UN Habitat's first kind of big deep dive into being a part of the Situation Room. Our first was in COP25, actually in Madrid. So yeah, excited. So back to you, Olga.
Thank you very much. As I just already mentioned, we are joined by Aromis Maria, who is a multicultural entrepreneur working at the next social, economic, environmental transformation. Hugo is going to be speaking with us as well. Yes, so maybe just to give a bit of a background about the Digital Art for Climate initiative, which brought us all together now for this event. I'm going to project the video now on the screen. Please let me know if we can see it. Yes. I think it's not possible now to project this, so probably, Lisa, if it's possible to switch on the video on your laptop, that would be really great, and then we can project it.
I apologize. I got kicked out of the platform, and I think when I got kicked out, the video was put off. So if we could maybe revisit this, I'm re-uploading it right now.
I think what we could do.
Okay, you ready?
I will show it.
Can you see it? Can you see the video?
Yes.
Okay,
Great.
I'll go ahead and play it from my end.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, please.
It's a very exciting day for us all in Glasgow. Artists from all over the world have contributed to the Digital Art for Climate initiative.
We have created this competition to really bring the social energy from the creative community towards the UNFCCC process.
Joining this competition was not only a chance to represent my country, but also to champion our.
It's a very exciting day for us all in Glasgow. Artists from all over the world have contributed to the Digital Art for Climate initiative.
We have created this competition to really bring the social energy from the creative community towards the UNFCCC process.
Joining this competition was not only a chance to represent my country, but also to champion our call for climate action.
Yeah.
Young mothers are also involved in the art competition, which was in COP26, and they won a special award.
Poa juu hapo at least kuna opportunity mingi. Tulianza na ball ikaenda ikapea watu moral, wakaona wanaweza fanya kitu kingine, wakaingia graffiti bila kukaanga hivyo idol.
We have also set up a special recognition award for the team spirit submission from graffiti girls from Kenya. They have been mentored by UN Habitat Youth Program, our key UN partner, and the idea there was that there's great artists in the slums of the world, in disadvantaged places, who have no access to the global resources, global collectors or whatever. But with this new platform that we are creating and with NFTs, we can create this connection.
Well, Africa's youth are so important just by the fact of the demographics. I mean, we're looking at many of the cities in Africa being 7% of the cities being under the age of 30. So it is critical to engage this demographic.
Creative industry can also support entrepreneurship, stimulate innovation and empower people, particularly young people and women. And at the same time, preserve and promote cultural diversity and heritage.
Hadi tujafikiria tunaweza fanya kitu kama hiyo. Lakini tulingangana tukaweza.
Ulifilaje sasa venye mkaambiwa mmeshinda special award?
Ilikuwa surprising sana, juu tulikuwa tuna expect kuchukua hiyo, lakini tulifurahia sana bado. Tulifeel poa sana by the way sana, na tunashukuru wale watu walitusupport na wote walitulikeia na wakacomment, tunashukuru sana. Hii ni kitu inatuonyesha tuko sawa, tunaweza fanya anything, tuko ready, yani tuko poa, tunatoka mbali.
So congratulations, have a nice party.
Asante.
Okay, so this was a sneak peek into the initiative. So thank you very much for putting it together, Lisa. And also we're going to be having This video is the basis for the presentation on the COP27 coming in Egypt. Yeah, so just a little bit, a couple of words about the initiative. So United Nations announced in 2021 as the year of creative economy for sustainable development to recognize the value and of creativity as a powerful resource for sustainable development and climate action. So digital art for climate in partnership with Habitat and Locha and lot of partners coming from different sectors is an initiative to accelerate that force.
Yeah, the digital art for climate change is an unprecedented multi-stakeholder partnership initiative that uses blockchain technology to turn art into digital assets or NFTs, which can be collected and traded, and thus opens up a technological innovation space that helps unlock extraordinary potential for resource mobilization and climate development.
So that's just a couple of words about the initiative. Who knows better about the initiative is the coordinator of it, Miroslav Polzer, who is currently with us. So please, Miroslav, tell us a little bit more about it, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Olga, Simon, and Doug. It's such a pleasure being with you on this hybrid event and being connected with Nairobi, UN Office Nairobi, where the UN Environment Assembly is taking place, such an important event and a moment in time for the world, which is in a climate crisis and a deteriorating climate crisis, and we see that things need to be changed. Really, our thinking needs to be changed. Our resource use decisions need to be changed. The way we work together on securing a good life for all need to be changed. And here we have identified culture, the combination of culture and technology as the formula for success, to really inspiring everyone to start caring about the climate and to start thinking what the individual can do. And so with Digital Art for Climate, we had call for contributions, art competition. We launched this on International Youth Day on the 12th of August last year. And we have such wonderful cooperation partners like UN Habitat Youth Program with this vast network of young people in the cities and settlements globally that have talent, that have entrepreneurial spirit and everything, but they are, for the time being, often lacking entry points to contribute to global goals. And with this, our initiative, we are providing this entry point in a way that is meaningful and rewarding. So as has been said by Olga and Simon, we are taking these entries, these artworks from the art competition, which we have distilled in a curated process into a collection of 30 artworks. Our COP26 United Nations Climate Conference in Glasgow collection. And now we are turning this with blockchain technology into digital assets, into NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And at the end of March, we are going to start an auction and monetization of these NFTs, and with the revenues being shared among artists, 15%, 35% a youth climate action fund that we will connect also with the youth engagement work of the World Environment Situation Room, and 50% also for setting up programs for building the intellectual, technological, and institutional infrastructure for getting everyone engaged in climate action. That's in the framework of the United Citizens Organization for Action for Climate Empowerment that we have also announced at the COP26. And but I will perhaps give back to you first, just as an introduction, that we are the ones who are working on systemic solutions, youth focus, culture, and digital innovation. And with this, we are building some kind of next generation of the United Nations system for non-state actors, because we see the UN system currently, governmental negotiations are important, but in order to translate global goals into action and impact and income opportunities for young people, we need additional structures, and these we are building with the United Citizens Organization. And Digital Art for Climate is the social energy motor that and generator that is connecting us with the creativity of the people around the world. Giving back to you, and thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Miro, for this introduction to the initiative. To me, it was always very interesting how the NFTs and climate action and economic empowerment of the disadvantaged populations can be linked together. And I think this is something that probably Romy can explain a little bit more to us. So Romy is CEO and co-founder of the A Big Life, a London-based business that builds and supports communities to foster purpose, deliver impact, and prioritize sustainability. So thank you very much for joining us. Romy, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me, and sorry for not being on the camera the whole time. My signal's not the best right now. But yeah, look, I think we're in a really interesting place in this kind of digital revolution now. Technologies like blockchain are potentially offering great opportunities to lots of people who have been for many years left out of the should I say, the economic system. And I think if we look at, for example, what NFTs can do, they can really empower individuals, creators, and give people a chance to put value on their work and find a market in a way that wasn't possible before. There are going to be lots of challenges, and we're going to have to do a lot of work together and work collaboratively to ensure that from a legal standpoint, things and the legal language is clear. That legally the NFTs and their smart contracts are enforceable. But if and when they are, I think they're going to offer a fantastic opportunity. And moreover, I think, blockchain as a whole can really be a starting point to open up and democratize the way we can, mobilize resources. And that's what we've been doing with Miroslav and his great initiatives. It's all about making sure that everybody in the world has access to the same resources and opportunities. And that's what we can do with blockchain, the transparency, the trust, but also the fact that it's a new chance, it's a new economy that's been created. And I think that's what's really exciting. Moreover, when we look at the Digital Art for Climate campaign, the messages you can deliver around art and sustainability combined are also really interesting, because this is a whole new way to not just send a positive message, but reward those for doing good. And I think that's a real big change in our system, where for a long time, those who have done good usually do it at their own cost or from their own heart for the good of the good. Now they can also be rewarded for it, which I think is fantastic, and it can only encourage more people to be part of it, which only builds up the economy. So I think when it comes to products like NFTs, there's so much potential, and with people like Miroslav who are leading the way, they really stand as actors for the commons, for the good of people, and that's what we need: people who really care about utility of these products, people who care about mobilizing resources to the right individuals, and most importantly, making sure that those who have been left out of the system now have a chance to enter. I would just like to say, though, that there is a lot of work to do when we think about the world and the global standpoint. I think the blockchain revolution has been fantastic in the more developed countries where they have better technological infrastructure. So we can't forget that element if we want to make sure those in sub-Saharan Africa, for example, are not left behind, because there is a lot of infrastructural work we need to do on the ground physically to make sure people can actually access and learn about these products. And secondly, we can't forget education, because we assume that most people are digitally aware, but the digital divide in one way could also increase as blockchain comes out, because those at the bottom have been left out might be left back even further. So what's really important in this really crucial time is that actors like ourselves working together ensure that those people who don't have the resources or the education are educated. We make sure we prioritize that, and we make sure we push our governments and even private sector to really build out the infrastructure that's needed so that these individuals can now enter into the system. And I can't stress that importance, because if we don't do that, we'll just create another and bigger digital divide than we already have.
Thank you very much, Romy. I think this is a very important point. We need to utilize technology to leverage the change rather than bringing more, rather than increasing the digital device that we are having at the moment. Just maybe a small announcement that Simon wants to make before we continue.
Thank you for everyone joining us across the world from the various different streaming platforms. If you have any questions, please post them in chat, and then we'll direct them to the panelists and also engage everything else. And thank you so much. The session is on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and all other sections. Thank you. Special regards to Eric Litzwa, who's joining us, and thanks us for allowing him to the World Environment Situation Room to host this session on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, Eric.
Fantastic. So I would say, last but not least, we are having Lisa joining us. Just speaking of creativity, of art, I think it's really important to bring a person who motivates young people on her workshops to create change, not only to the environment, but also bringing change to their own lives, utilizing the power of creativity. So
Okay, I think I lost you for a minute, so I'm hoping I'm okay to jump in right now. Olga, is that okay? Great. So greetings, everyone. I'm calling in from Mombasa. Yeah, I wanted to emphasize what Olga said at the beginning, that it really is an exciting time for practicing creatives. I've been working in the UN NGO sector during the Millennial Development Goals, now the Sustainable Development Goals. And there's nothing quite like the excitement and interest, I think, in engaging artists and the power of art in development. And, so much so that the UN declared 2021 as the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development. So I work as a filmmaker. I'm both a one-person crew documentary filmmaker. I'm a screenwriter. And this NFT and digital art space is very, very new to me. And I think what I want to talk about or just put out there as a point of discussion is that the digital divide is very, very real in this space. I'm very techie. I've done a lot of tech stuff. I've programmed in Unity. I edit my own films. I'm very techie, and transitioning into understanding the NFT world is a lot. It's actually, everything from understanding the culture, where you're talking about the Discord channels, to smart contracts, to designing NFTs, to doing collections, which is what I'm really focusing on right now. I think that that we cannot underestimate sort of how much the digital divide, especially during COVID, has the potential to really separate the artists from the global north from those from the global south. And what I appreciate in working with Doug and UN Habitat is that he's very conscious of that. And so what we're talking about is aligning sort of people who are already very well versed in the digital space with people who are still sort of off the grid, because their work and their art is important. But to expect that we're going to necessarily teach all of these, graffiti artists, musicians, poets, how to fully engage in this digital space, I think is asking a lot. And I think with time, there will be more resources, platforms, things that are going to make it easier for people. So you don't have to understand coding. You don't have to understand programming in order to maximize your value in this space. So I also, in addition to being a filmmaker, I run a collective of artists from around the world, primarily BIPOC artists, called Create 2030. And one of the things that we really focus on is ensuring that we leave no artist behind. And that was really made apparent to me when I got stuck in Kenya during COVID, and I wanted to sort of give back to the creative community because the COVID pandemic had really wiped out a lot of work for people, myself included. I lost like 7 gigs, I think, in like 2 or 3 days. And so I thought, okay, I'll do all these workshops. I'm launching this Arts Envoy program. People will join me. And the reality is, artists here either don't have access to the internet to join a 2-hour webinar or can't afford the bundles. And so what I transitioned into is doing live workshops. So I would tailor my sort of mentorship to the global North artists through platforms, Patreon, YouTube, whatever. And then I would ensure that I go out and do live workshops. And so I'm super excited to be a part of this, not only because this is such an exciting space, but I do really appreciate, and I'm genuinely saying this, that under Doug's leadership and under UN Habitat, that they are really thinking through, and, even with Miro, giving a special award to the graffiti girls is recognizing that we're not just gonna highlight and amplify people who are already killing it in this space, but that we're going to really work on ensuring people at the community level get access to resources, opportunities, or whatnot to grow. And so that we all sort of, as creatives and people of the creative economy benefit from this exciting new space. So I think that's all I wanted to say. As everybody in this panel knows, I'm new to this space, but they got me hooked. I am hooked in it completely, and I'm super excited to see where it's going to go, both at COP27 and with South by Southwest. Everything is just exciting. So thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Well, we have a great energy here. I think that's very youthful energy, and the talk is actually taking this youth direction. What we told you already that Simon and myself, we've been working with UN Habitat, but what we didn't disclose is that we're working in a youth team, UN Habitat. So for us, it's really important to kind of see how young people can benefit from the technology, from the technology of blockchain and digital art, how they can actually also bring benefit to their own communities and their own lives. So essentially, I just wanted to reiterate our request from people who are joining us from different parts of the world to ask the question to the speakers because we still have time. But until we wait for the questions, I would like to already start mine because it's an amazing opportunity. And I just wanted to direct the first one to you, Miro. Just knowing that you've been working with youth quite tightly and very much passionate about the youth-led development. So just wanted to ask, what do you think? What opportunity does the initiative present to young people? What is the relevance of the digital art awareness? I would even say to young people, to young artists. Just could you please share your thoughts on that? It's very interesting.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It's really very inspiring conversation. So I'm convinced that this new technologies, blockchain technology, and in general, this mobile technology also, that this is a game changer because if we are a global family in light of global challenges, then we need to connect. We need to know who is doing what, and then provide incentives, rewards to those who are taking action in the right direction. And so with these new technologies, people who otherwise would have no bank account or who would not have access to a global market can suddenly have this access. It is
I think Miro dropped off. And you're mute, Olga.
Oh yeah. So we experience all sorts of technical issues today. Um, Hopefully, Miro will be back to us. But to me, the point is clear that young people get the opportunity to join the uncharted territory, how they can actually find livelihoods using the digital technology, mobile technology. And this is really great. But I just wanted to ask maybe you, Doc, the best person to answer. What do you think? What is the relevance between the young people's communities within informal settlements and this advanced technology, and what is the potential it can carry? Because maybe it's not entirely transparent how young people who don't get the much access to the internet can actually utilize such advanced technologies for their own good.
Thanks. Really good question. Oh, Miro's back. Miro, do you want to wrap up what you were saying?
Yeah, sure. Now, what I wanted to say is that we can now create from the mural NFT, and it can be bought by somebody, I don't know, in Europe, wherever. Opportunities for young people are much bigger. So, and the world, the young people have a global stage for their artwork, things that would not have been possible before. And so we are connecting those who are taking action for the common good on the local and global level, and providing then also rewarding resources, enabling resources. And for me, this is wonderful to see these opportunities, because then really everyone can participate in global society, contribute, and be rewarded. That's the basic logic. And with these new technologies, this is possible. And a point that I would also like to highlight, which is very important, because when people hear about blockchain technology, they have in the back of their mind news about the bad energy consumption and environmental footprint of blockchain technology. And this is a very valid concern. And we need to, but there are different blockchains. So the first generation and second generation blockchains, Bitcoin and Ethereum, proof of work blockchains, they're really even a big problem for the world, because they are consuming so much energy. But there are now new generations of blockchains, proof of stake based blockchains, like the ones that we are using on the Polkadot and Kusama blockchain ecosystems. And here we have 100,000 times lower environmental footprint. And this, I wanted just to say that we don't want to promote any type of blockchains. We want to make people also aware that they need to be conscious and selective in picking blockchain technologies, because they have also potentially environmental bad aspects. And so we are educating also people to use the right tools for having for this digital art dimension.
Okay, this seems very important. So when you access this global marketplace of digital art, then choose your NFT wisely, right? So
Yes,
so that
exactly. Yeah.
wow, it's interesting. So digital art for climate platform is gonna be based on the environmentally friendly entities. Did I get it right?
Yes, you got the point.
Of course, that's that's why we are here, and that's why we are discussing. So now, Doug, then just getting back to the question that I asked you. So now we see another concern comes at the top of it. So not only accessing digital marketplace as an artist from the informal settlement, but also knowing like and being very environmentally conscious about choosing the right platform. So what is your take on this? How do you think it can be reconciled?
Thanks, Olga, and thanks, Miro, and Lisa and Romy, who's left. I mean, it's really a triple bottom line prospect. It's economic, social, environmental. I mean, and that's where we can't have any one without the other. I think sometimes we get lost in the bling of, oh, it's a sexy NFTs, and you see this whole the discussion going on globally about what NFTs are and such. And I think it's important, but we want to really bring it right down to the basics. Is it harming the environment or is it improving the environment? Number one. And actually, these aren't 1, 2, 3. I'm just saying them based on what comes to mind first. Number two, economically, we can't do these things if they don't have economic benefit for everyone. And this is the question you're asking, Olga. So we just to note, we have 2 more editions of this Situation Room at 9 a.m. tomorrow and 9 a.m. on the 3rd. And we're going to be bringing in young people who are actually benefiting from blockchain technology, benefiting from digital art, from the informal settlements. So it's not just the hip and the happening in the big cities of the world, but it's also people who are living in informal settlements such as Mathari, who won this award. So economic is core and social, that it has social benefit. We've also seen a lot of criticisms of social media being fake news and so on and so on. I mean, we want to assure from all sides that this moves us socially forward in an equitable way, that everyone gets the opportunity. So that kind of triple bottom line approach is what we're applying to this. I mean, again, I'm not the tech guy, that's Miro. And then I'll pass it over to Lisa, who's the arts person. I'm kind of the person in the middle who's just looking at young people. Young people make up 70+% of the population of Africa. If you're going to move anything forward globally, you need to engage young people, period, final endpoint. And you need to engage young women. You need to take an intersectional lens to make sure that all those, whether it be the LGBTQ community, the indigenous community, disabled young people, we need to make sure those people are all engaged. And so that's kind of what our role is, I think, why Miro and we have partnered up, is to make sure that happens, that it ticks, that we're not just going off and again looking only at the bling, but we're looking at actual real 1, 2, 3. So hopefully that, like I said, that follow us tomorrow and the 2nd and the 3rd. We also, I'm just getting pinged by Emmanuel Jal, who is a former child soldier and I think is watching right now. Hopefully we're going to have him on maybe on day 3 with Lisa. Hopefully we'll be here as well live in Nairobi. And Manuel says he's traveling tomorrow, so we'll see. But hopefully we'll get Emmanuel here. But if not physically, then virtually. Yeah. So I mean, I think it would be great to engage and follow through with as many people as possible as we move to COP27, which is going to be held in Egypt, and that's going to be a real important time, especially. And I think we cannot also not recognize the context of we're in a very major a war right now, basically in Europe, and there's been many wars all over the world. This is one that's maybe taken more prominence for whatever reason. But I mean, there's nothing more degrading to social, economic, and environmental values than war. And we're all about peace and really promote that we must, everyone must push towards peace, that we stand with those who are those who are facing this, and that we need to bring this to a peaceful close. Because whatever we do, war could be so destructive, and we just can't let that happen. So I'll leave it there. Pass it back to you, Olga, and then we'll, thanks.
Thank you, Doug. Actually, you addressed something which is on the top of the mind of a lot of people nowadays. Just a really quick one to Lisa, because I'm really curious. Now we are running out of time a little bit. But I think it's really important because you just already mentioned that maybe just as a person quite new to the idea of this digital art and everything, I think that your insight is very valuable as the person being well vested in the idea of creative economy. So I just wanted to know what is your opinion? How does this idea of digital art initiative fits into this idea of creative economy as a means of economic empowerment for people from different backgrounds. Could you please just give us a couple of words on that?
Sure. So I'm just going to speak honestly. And Doug, I hope you don't kill me sort of afterward. But I think that we cannot dismiss the importance of the bling bling for artists, not because artists are money hungry. If we were, I think there's a lot of other career paths we would have chosen. But there's a lot of artists, both youth artists and older artists who've been in the game for a very long time, who see this as an opportunity to finally get compensated in a way that will allow us to do all the extra great work that we want to do. To make money from NFTs while it's still possible is something that I don't want to dismiss, because the reality is working as a working class artist is incredibly difficult. You struggle, it's hard to save money, the pandemic like wiped your career thing. And so maybe I would say instead of maybe, you know, talking about it as bling bling, it's sort of like an investment. It's like, you know, I don't have a retirement plan, and I've been working as a filmmaker for how long in certain sectors. I don't have a house. I don't have anything. And so looking at it instead of sort of the bling bling and let's just, you know, make quick cash on it, as more of an opportunity to create sort of a long-term investment or fund for artists to be able to, again, continue the work that we love to do. The reality is, if I were to make $1 million from NFTs, I probably wouldn't change my life too much. I would just be able to do things on a level that I know I'm capable of. And so when we talk about the economic impact, I think artists' ears pop up, because it's like, oh, wow, we finally have an opportunity to make money from our artwork in a legitimate way. Working in the UN NGO sector, I can't tell you how many times I've worked for free because there hasn't been a budget for artists. This can also change that game. We can invite climate artists to participate in COP27 without asking them to work for free and then using their art for free. It's sort of like, we'll engage you, create art, but you know what? On the back end, we're going to figure out how to promote your work so that you make some sort of monetary compensation. So this addresses sort of, you know, one of the things I talked a lot about were a lot of these arts contests that were popping up during the pandemic, because they weren't looking at the economic solutions. You were asking artists to work for free, and then on the back end, you were taking our ability to license our artwork away from us because you were giving it for free to Facebook, to BBC, or whatever. So you're creating a harmful environment for artists. This is a way where, and another thing I'll say is that, you know, a friend of mine did the big sculpture, the faucet sculpture that's at UNEA right now. He's one artist that was commissioned to do one great piece of artwork. And that's usually what happens at every, you know, major conference or whatever. It's like, okay, we can invite one artist to do a performance. We can do one artist to do a wrap-up performance. With this, you can invite hundreds of artists to participate at COP27 and provide a platform for them to expose their work, get exposure for their work, to sell their work or whatnot. So I think this NFT and the digital art for climate, I'm excited to be involved, because I think I can take the solutions that I've been working on as Create 2030 and apply it to this and argue why something like this could really benefit artists wanting to work in the sustainable development space, but either like can't get paid, don't know how to access it, aren't in the know, aren't in the, you know, oh, I want to stand up and perform, but I don't know people who curate. I don't know the UN. This opens up to a lot more opportunities from artists of a lot of different backgrounds. And so I think all of that makes this really critically important. And I'm really excited to be part of this conversation. Again, not because it's like a craze or whatever, but it can provide solutions, sustainable solutions, which we're going to talk about on the 3rd, to the creative economy. And it's for working class artists. I can't tell you how valuable that is. So I will stop my rant, but to say that it's exciting and I want to make money from this. I want Create 2030 to make money from this. I want the artists in Mathari and the digital artists in Nairobi to make money from this. I want the movement to make money from this. I'm not afraid to say I would like for this to generate income for people who've struggled so long without a supportive economic, or, you know, I don't know what I'm looking for, like just a a regular cash income way to live. So yeah, that's all I'll say. I'm excited, and thank you, Doug and Miro, for pushing me into this space, because it took me a while. I was like, yeah, I'll learn about it. Let me figure it out. And then once I did, I was obsessed. So thank you for the inspiration.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I think
and just in a quick response to Lisa, I have no problem being schooled by Lisa. I think she really knows what she's talking about. And all I'm promoting, I think, is balance. That we need to balance the social and the economic. And I mean, I'm all for young people in informal settlements globally making money off this. What I'm not for is people selling things for millions of dollars and then having no ability to share and just feeding a global class, as we've seen, of billionaires or millionaires that are all just doing this for whatever reason they are. They have every right to, but we have every right to push back and say, well, there's millions upon millions of artists. You only need to go into the informal settlements. You need to walk into Mathari. Every second person is creating art. We have this young guy, Gary, who's doing it. I've never seen a more prolific artist. I mean, the guy is cranking a song out a day. These are the kinds of people that need to, and they don't need to make, thousands of thousands. I mean, great if they would, thousands of dollars per song or whatever. They just need to make a living. And making a living in a lot of places in the world doesn't take a lot. When you're making $5 to $10 a day on average in Africa for most of the population, making 20 is great. So why not even just that incremental push to do that? Now, I mean, again, I'm not pushing incremental either. Obviously, people have to have a living wage and such, but I think we have to start where we start. And if we can go 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, and like have all these people be able to take art, which, let's be clear, is a fairly low bar. I mean, it's not like it's not like you're need an industry or like an industrial process to do it. You have certain processes, but they also are not always that expensive. And you can create art wherever you are. And I think that's what we're looking at and what we see. And I hope that this is what we hope to work with Miro and Lisa and all the other gang and Romy to make this happen. Thanks. I'll stop ranting now too.
If I may add also a brief concluding remark is that with these new technologies, especially also with NFTs, one interesting dimension, social innovation that comes with is a community formation. So around these NFTs, around digital currencies, and so there are being set up communities. And these communities are those who are concerned, who really know to value the contributions of an artist in Matare or wherever. And so there is hope with this, that in this community, that those who will contribute artwork, that they will find people with resources who will reward their artwork, and that there will be a living for everyone. A good life for all is one of our slogans. And thanks everyone for being part of this initial community, which is supposed to grow to millions of people.
Thank you very much. Amazing conclusive remarks. Just really quick, Simon.
Interesting from the comment section on YouTube with Lucas Gambo, finding it's a very interesting conversation. Even personally for me, I can say I'm as enlightened about NFT and climate change and the role all together as she has professed, and so much learning going on. And yeah, in terms of the link, it will still be available on YouTube. You can share it on your socials as well, and reach out to us, tag in the speakers, tag in relevant artists who can really learn from this. And yeah, it's all about going forward together towards COP. Yeah.
Yes, and let's stay tuned also for a number of sessions that are upcoming, especially the one upcoming the day after tomorrow. We are going to dive a little bit deeper into the Digital Art for Climate initiative, and we'll also have a couple of short interviews with young artists that actually benefited from the initiative, and a very inspiring conversation is upcoming. Thank you very much. It sounds that we definitely, as Simon puts it, learned a lot, and also just one small thought that just came to my mind as I was listening to all of you, that presenting sort of the conclusive remarks that we had now, that the talent is actually universal, right?
Yeah.
It can pop up everywhere in all circumstances. And let's just work also on making opportunities universal so that everyone would be able to be empowered and benefit from technologies and the global recognition and platforms. And let's just work toward that. Really amazing. Thank you very much, and really happy to be hosting you all. And thanks for the comments in the comment section. Really happy that some of you just even expressed that they also enjoyed the conversation, and looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
So thank you very much, Simon.